So in this video, we're going to be talking about the concept of pointers or pointer variables in C++. You know that the concept of pointer variables in C++, it doesn't exist in any other programming language like PHP, Java, and Python. No, it doesn't exist in those other languages. This concept of memory management or strict memory management to do with pointers, the referencing pointers, modifying, and dereferencing pointers exist in C++. So we're going to use C++ to study the concept of pointers. We're going to study what pointers are, why are they useful, and why are they talked about a lot in C++. Okay. So start by defining what a pointer is. So a pointer is a variable that is used to store a memory address of another variable in a computer program. So with C++ pointers, you're able to access the memory address where a certain variable is stored in memory. Okay, and then you can store the memory address, okay, where a certain variable is stored just directly in another variable. So you can store the memory address in a normal variable like the regular variables that we learned earlier or no. You have to use a special variable called a pointer variable for you to store memory addresses. And that is what pointer variables do. They just store memory addresses. So they are declared using an asterisk or a pointer. So the asterisk symbol here. So you day-to-day language, you're going to normal English, you're just going to call this an asterisk, right? But in this concept, this is going to be called a pointer to symbol. Pointer to, okay? Pointer to what? Pointer to a certain memory address, okay? So that's what an asterisk is. So the syntax is that you're going to have, let's say, a type, and then you create and you introduce the pointer to, and then the name of the pointer. So this means that if you want to store a memory address for an integer, you have to introduce an integer, then you introduce the pointer to symbol. The pointer to symbol has to be put on the type, and then you give that pointer, or you give that pointer variable a name, just like a regular variable, okay? So if you have a pointer variable here, it means you're going to be storing the memory address of an integer. If you have an integer, you're going to be storing the memory address of an integer. If you have a string, it's for a string, for a character, it's for a character. Okay, you need to have that consistency. So an example, I'm going to say integer, okay? Integer age, since you have a pointer to variable here now, this variable becomes a pointer variable. So this means it will just be expecting a memory address of a certain integer to keep. We don't be keeping, it will just be keeping the memory address, okay? Like that. So now the second symbol you should understand is the ampersand. This is called an ampersand, right? Some people call it an and. In this concept of pointers, it's going to be called an address to. So this is a pointer to, then this is an address to, and is used to access a memory address of the variable. So the asterisk sign here is used to keep, this one keeps the memory address. And then the ampersand symbol is used to access the memory address. That's the difference. So if let's say you have a unique variable here named int birth is equal to 2000, right? Then you are going to have a variable here says int age. Then since this variable is in memory where it's created here, so we need to put an asterisk here where there is an int, you put an asterisk so that it becomes a pointer. So this means this is a pointer variable, it needs a memory address of this variable here. So we're going to use the address to. So this is point to the address to of birth variable. That is how this concept works. So use the asterisk to prepare a variable that will keep a memory address, and use the address to, okay, or the ampersand or the address to symbol to access a memory address of a certain variable. So that is the whole concept about pointers, the pointer and also the address, the point to and the address to concept, or just in generally the concept of pointers. That is what it is. One, we just store memory addresses of variables that are already existing in memory, just storing the memory addresses. So it's important, if you want to find out the memory address of where maybe a certain variable is in memory, you're going to use the concept of pointers. Okay. So like in this case, the age variable is storing the memory address of the birth. So this age variable here, the pointer variable, this age here, this age is storing the memory address of birth variable. So it's storing the memory address of this one. Here, we're accessing the memory address through the address to variable symbol. So In the next video, we're going to look at how to set up pointers in what? In C++. Just literally how to set up a pointer, how to create a pointer. Okay.